welcome guys to the METAFORECAST season 2, and we're outside because British summer is going to be it's alright, but I mean I want to enjoy outside while we can, and I thought I'd change it up for season 2. So I am outside with 3 amazing people, creatives, artists. I have Ned Ashcroft from Camden.
Yeah.
We have Luise from Germany. And then we have Deven from India. Well, specifically which city?
Nashik.
Nashik.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. And from
Berlin.
There we go. That's cool. And then obviously we're from London. So if you don't know, Ned is a singer slash poet, but I know him for singing mostly, but he has amazing written pieces as well. You've also got a project coming out soon, don't you?
Yeah.
What's that called?
It's called Softness.
Softness. And what was the reason for the title for Softness?
It's about like moving on after having loved someone.
Okay. Is that based on real events?
Yeah.
Cool. Is it raw? Are we okay to like delve in a little bit?
It's alright, yeah.
Cool. So obviously, is it kind of based around the parting of each other, or is it just based on the feelings and so it's more relatable to other people?
I think it started off being more about specifically about like the intimacy of being with someone, and then kind of over time, literally as time has passed, and it's been like a year of recording. So in that time, the third volume especially is more about like the kind of goodbye thing.
Okay, so parting is such sweet sorrow kind of vibe where like.
Yeah, I don't actually know what that expression means, but
yeah.
Yeah.
I guess it's kind of like it's sweet sorrow in that like it's obviously you have the part and that's bad, but then also there's like you're leaving room for like a new chapter in your life and you're moving on.
Yeah.
There's a growth there.
Yeah. I feel that.
And obviously with 3 EPs, like with 3 projects, that's quite a lot. That's an extensive piece of time to kind of focus on this one subject. So
yeah.
How do you split it across 3? Is there like an arc somewhere or?
To be honest, it's been a combination of like just kind of constantly making up as I go along,
Okay.
and then also like the splitting it into 3 was quite like very practical. Just it's a lot easier to do one and then kind of move on to the next one. Do you know what I mean? And you have to book musicians and studios, etc., etc. So it would be really impossible, especially like at this early stage. Like it would have just been way too much work to have tried to record 12 songs all at once.
So is it 12 songs across 3 projects, or is it?
Pretty much, the thing is basically structured like 4 songs and a poem for each EP.
Okay.
And then the whole thing is going to come out with a couple of live versions as well.
Ah, cool. In regards to the second project that just came out a week ago, what can people expect from that one and from the next one?
I think that the second one is cool. It's like a combination, like with the first one, of like fully produced tunes and then like stripped back acoustic vibe. It's like, I think it's really cool. It's like kind of like, and I don't have anything specific to say, but the third one I think is, I'm finishing it like this week and next week, and
That's exciting.
I feel very proud of it.
Is it just like waiting for the mix down, or just you have to finish
I've got
some
a
lyrics?
few studio sessions left to like, literally just fix like volumes and sounds and things.
It's interesting that like, you made an album called Softness that's about like moving on from a partner, and because I've also written the next film that I'm working on is also very personal, and it's like about like moving on from a relationship. I think my question to you would be, when you wrote these songs down and when you finished them, did you feel like you were done with that feeling now? Because you said the third song is pretty much about like the last song is pretty much about a goodbye. Did it feel like you have completely let this relationship go? Or and the second part of the question would be, since now you will be like going to different stages and to different venues and performing the same songs, do you think those feelings come back to you, or
it's a really cool question. I think I find it really difficult, to be honest, because some of the material I wrote like almost 2 years ago now. So it's like how it's really hard to continue to feel that with the intensity. And then also like it's kind of frustrating to like, it's obviously like for very practical reasons it's a cool thing like to have like a big project to be working on, but then also it's like, you know, even like if you came to a gig, you wouldn't want to hear someone sing for 2 hours about basically just like breakup songs. Like it gets boring. Like
Maybe not.
Yeah, maybe not. But I think like I'm straying from what your question was. Sorry.
So what I asked was, do you normally, after finishing a song or writing it down, feel like you're done with the feeling?
Yeah.
Does it like get out of you through your art? Is what I
understand. One of the tunes, like the last tune on the whole triple album, is called "I Wonder Where You Are," and I think that is kind of the closest thing to what you're describing. Like I must have written it about 3 or 4 months ago, and at the time was really frustrated with, you know, continuing to write about the same person, and like feeling a bit unimaginative, and when that one came, I kind of made like the mental decision that would be like the last thing I ever wrote about this person. So it felt quite nice to be like really just like, this is the last goodbye, literally, and also on that album as well, it's like the last song. So, and I don't know, I don't really know. I think like kind of to answer your second point, like it's kind of difficult because in a way that's like a way of saying goodbye and like releasing the emotion. But then if you like then go and gig it for 6 months, you just like you're just like re-traumatizing yourself. So
yeah, that was my next question. Like, is it hard to perform these songs because you've spent so much time pouring these emotions into them?
I don't know. I'm not sure. Like when you actually just in the moment and like the practicalities of doing the gig, like I feel like it almost, there's like, you kind of just sing them. I don't know. There's more to it than that, but there's an element of like, I don't know, maybe just like stepping away slightly from this like really like intensely personal thing and moving more towards a state of like just like really going for the song and like trying to relive the feeling type thing.
Because when you perform, and I saw you perform once when I did miss your gig, but the ones before, and that was like you really, like it seems like you really feel what you're saying.
Yeah.
And this was so impressive when I saw it the first time. Like you're really into it, and this carries the whole audience with you. And now I'm thinking when you talk about that you actually have closed this chapter already, and you just try now to put it out till it's possible actually. So then I was wondering, is this then you're still, is it authentic? Authenticity or authenticity? Or is it why you also, is that part of the performance?
Yeah, I feel that. I don't know. Yeah, it's something I find really difficult to like. I was just literally talking about it this morning, like to find that balance of like exactly what you're saying between like authenticity and performance. I've no idea. So it's helped when you have a band because then it almost doesn't have to be so like gut wrenching. You can kind of just get carried by the song and just sing the song.
I mean, in acting we have these kind of thing. We are always motivated to be personal but never private. And we make it like when you have a performance, and like especially when you wrote it by yourself, this is going to be so important that that it's not like if you just could take your whole day with you and your whole emotion from the day, it's getting very private. But if you have just like let it glimpse through, then it's helping you. But at the same time, you have a little distance, and you can just flow and go into the performance and interact with the audience.
Totally.
Something like that.
I've heard something similar, and not with this, but like in terms of singers and actors, that it's more harder to share a poem than to sing a song or to perform a monologue. And I'm always kind of curious as to why that is, because you know actors and singers are so fearless as performers. Like, what is it about sharing a piece of poetry that you guys feel more vulnerable with like what was that about kind of?
When I have when I'm jumping into a role which is already existing, of course you can hide much more behind the role, and you put yourself into it and you bring all your background, but still it's not written by yourself. You can have a huge imagination about this role. You can create a whole life, and you're just carrying this imaginary world. So that's it. And when you write your own stuff, you.
Is it like kind of reading your diary out
Like
for strangers to hear?
Out, and you put your heart just out there and share it. And that's super vulnerable. And then especially when you do really vulnerable stuff. I mean,
Understandable. I want to ask also Deven, like as a filmmaker, do you find it more? Is it more not cringy, but like is it when you see your own work and your own piece of writing that you've produced? Is that harder for you to share that than doing something for a client?
Always, yeah. I cringe at everything that I've made till now.
Okay.
Yeah, pretty much.
But you don't have to.
Yeah, I mean, of course, like when I'm like showing it to people, I have to hype myself a bit. Like, oh look, I've made this film. It got selected in this film festival, and but when I'm showing it to them in my head, I'm going, oh, this is so bad. Yeah, for sure. I mean, I don't think I've been proud of stuff that I've written.
Yeah.
But making it into a film, I don't think I will ever be satisfied with the way a film will turn out, because there's just so many people get involved in a film, and it's like it's such a huge collaborative art, and it like goes on forever, right? You can write a poem in a day and be done with it, but like a film, it takes like months, sometimes years to like make.
It's a labor of love, right?
And it has evolved, and it has gone through so many seasons, and it's just once it's out there. You just, a director just have to like make peace with what it has become, because it will never be what a director had thought in his mind when he was either writing it or filming it, because a lot of time has passed, a lot of people have like worked on it, and you just have to make your peace with it, I guess.
I really hear that.
Yeah, I mean it's the same thing with music too. Yeah, I mean it's a shorter process, I would say, time wise, but it is like, it's like so many people are then there, and it's like having, and like when you decide to produce your art, be it music or film, I think it's like letting like 100 people take a stab at your baby. That's what it's like. But it's also interesting that I had never heard this. Did like really actors did really tell you that they had like problems performing poetry?
I think Luise has told me before in the past, and some other people like that perform songs. Like Millie's told me she finds it really nerve-wracking to share a poem than a song. You've met Millie, right? Yeah. So she's told me a few times like that's hard. And I myself, I guess, used to feel that way about poetry. I guess because I don't know, maybe I've kind of developed a kind of mental callous in terms of producing pieces, especially when I've done them like 100 times. But I guess the first time is always emotional.
Yeah.
Yeah. And nerve-wracking. And you transmute that energy into your performance, I guess.
Yeah.
Whereas like when I perform a piece that I've done 1,000 times, I've kind of disassociated myself with it, I think.
Yeah. I feel like there's something to be said about the fact that maybe like poetry is a more like specific art form than, for example, writing a song. Right? Like, I don't think this is always true, but like, probably like, if you think of like a song, it's maybe you're like trying to. It's often like less like kind of autobiographical and a bit more like broad and like about these big feelings. Whereas poetry, I when I first got into it, I liked it because you could like write a poem about like missing the bus or something, and it could be a really small thing, almost like you said, like a diary.
Yeah.
Rather than like this kind of really deep, like gut-wrenching emotion, it's just like this small nugget of an emotion, and you can just put it out there.
I just feel like that must be because like singer-songwriters and actors normally they can basically show their art. They're mostly playing characters. Like even a singer-songwriter can write a really personal song, but really like perform it in a non-private way, like Luise said.
Yeah.
And you know, like people won't be like, oh, this is him. You know, it's a great song. The song and the artist can be separated. But when you're performing a poetry, it's literally like standing naked in front of people, just like it's because it is about you. It like even if so, which is why maybe actors and like singer-songwriters find it difficult, because then it's like, oh, it's about me now. You know.
I hear.
Do you guys agree with that?
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I think there's a certain type. I think there's levels to vulnerability, and some people are on certain issues or certain things like are more able to share those. Like, oh, I'm not good at swimming, or I'm not good at this, but then they might be more sensitive to sharing. Like, I've been cheated on, or I have cheated, and I felt the repercussions of that, and they don't want to divulge that and things like that, or mental health. I think some people put levels of like pain or trauma into different categories, where some are more shareable than others. And there's levels to privacy, I guess, depending on who you're with.
Yeah, which is why I was asking you if like going back to that same song brings back those feelings when you perform it, because I mean I've had that experience with my actors where a lot of them came from a very rigid theatre background, where they were taught by you always follow into your mentor's steps, and if you've had a mentor who's taught you the method technique, that's basically tapping into your personal private memories to basically channel a character. I've always found that so unhealthy, because it's like it's so difficult for actors to constantly have those emotions on surface, because it looks great on screen, but like after that, do you not have any responsibility for like your actors to like let them do that? Because there's been so many amazing actors, especially like Jim Carrey is one I can think of, who've gone too deep into characters, and then of course the famous ones who literally lost themselves, like Heath Ledger. So yeah, which is why like when I'm working with actors, I'm like, no personal, no getting personal over here. I think something similar that I said to you when we were filming, right? I was like, even if this is Luise's poem,
that's what you told me.
don't play it like Luise. Just imagine yourself as an actor, and Luise is just a character.
Yeah.
That's all you need to do.
I really like that approach.
At least like as a director, I feel like responsible for like not letting actors do that, because it's dangerous to keep such emotions on surface.
It's really interesting.
Safeguarding is quite important. Do you kind of like take that into everything that you do?
Pretty much, yeah.
Have you had someone was there an incident before that kind of made you do that from then, or was that just something you've always kind of had in the forefront?
Yes, there was. So I was working on this film where a very senior actress was doing a role of a woman who can't have kids. And the coincidence was that actress herself couldn't have kids in real life. And every time we would like be filming, it was amazing. It would be like super amazing. And she would like her performances were just even if she wasn't like emoting through her body or her face, you could just like feel that energy around her whenever those points in the film came where she had to communicate that I can't have, I'm basically infertile, that feeling of being a barren land or something like that. And everyone would like be clapping after the take, and I would be like, man, this is crazy, because I felt responsible, right? I was there in the director's chair, and you can always get that kind of performance without using those personal feelings. And it was like we filmed with her for like 3 days, and at the end of the shoot, I actually went to her and I was like, do you really think that this was healthy? Because I could feel that you were not okay after the shot was done. And if you're not okay after the shot was done, then is it really worth it, you know? You can't be really putting yourself as an actor into danger just to like play a role, you know?
Don't production sets like all have like someone on staff, like a therapist or someone that helps you do an exercise where you kind of take the actors out of that, you know, that process so that they can kind of, you know, become themselves again?
Now they do, but I'm talking about like really commercial projects that are trying to like, you know, stay woke. And sometimes most productions even do it just for the sake of the image, you know, just to like have a intimacy coordinator on set, have a therapist on set. But you need therapists when the harm is already done, right? You know, normally as an artist or like as a director personally, I'm saying, you can easily prevent that, easily, because that's what actors are here for, right? If we were like, if actors were meant to come and use their personal trauma to play a role, then why do we have actors? Why do we have like actors who've got skills to actually play a role? Then we could have anyone come and sit in front of the camera, and we can like drive them to channel their trauma and like play a character. That's.
I think that we in acting school we learn 2 techniques, or we divide between them. Choose between them. Like you have the method acting, where you put everything out of yourself, and we have the Chekov technique. And for example, I myself, when it's about acting, I prefer the Chekov technique when I do this, because I also had to perform already characters which were so close to me, and then it can get very unhealthy if you canalize these emotions all over again. So and then when you have the Chekov technique, it's more about imagination, and there's this saying that imagination is endless, like, and then there are exercises, and it's crazy, like what you're capable of feeling, and even though you don't take your own trauma or whatever, you just like you take an object, you take a color, you take whatever, and then you just let it flow, and it's actually also real, but you have a better distance to it. So that's what we do, and then there are like really specific techniques where you step over a threshold and come back before and after the performance, so that you have this. So that also helps. And when you were working with me, I thought about that. That I'm not playing Luise in that moment. I mean that I'm playing her, but I'm not just doing
As Luise, yeah.
Yeah, that's more the poetry style, which is a bit difficult then.
I'm kind of curious, because we're talking about process. I mean, and each of you are in different things. You're a musician. You're an actress. You're a filmmaker, director. What's the process for each of you in terms of like preparing for a creative project or for a performance? Like, what do you guys individually do to get ready for that or prepare for that?
So like with a gig, there's like lots of practical things to do, like I don't know, like
Sound check and stuff.
Yeah, well, so but even before that, you know, timeline would be like tickets, get people to come, etc., etc. Book the rehearsal rehearse with the band, or if it's a solo thing, then just do that on my own. And then sound check, that's always hectic. And then like get some food, chill, and then I don't know, like half an hour before the set, like drink loads of water all day, and then do some warm-ups and
Vocal warm-ups.
yeah, and like kind of try and map. I find it really useful to like map out the set. So it'd be like, you know, we're going to play these songs. It's actually, I had a gig on Sunday where we didn't really have a set list.
Oh, wow.
We kind of just winged it, and it really comes across. At least I felt it, because it was with someone who I play with a lot, and we played a lot of songs which we knew. So I thought, oh, you know, we can just bounce between them and see how we're feeling. But I think when you have an actual audience, as opposed to like music in the background, like if you don't really put in the thought to think about like the trajectory of the concert and like how you want to start and how you want to end, and like where the kind of spaces you want to take them into, and when you want to bring the audience in, and when you want to just flow between the songs. It just really comes across if you don't put that thought in. And then realistically, there's always loads going on, and then you just get on stage and you just do it, and then that's that really.
That's cool. What about you, Luise?
I often to not stuck in my head, which is my biggest problem as an actor. That I have this. That I'm always very strict with myself, and I don't want this when I perform. So to not end up like this, I also have some routines. So I'm meditating for 4 years now already, since I was in India. And yeah, this is helping me a lot. 20 minutes in the morning. Then I'm thankful for the techniques I learned in my drama school, because when I got there and when I was auditioning for 1.5 years to get a place in drama school, I was very, like, because of my professional horse riding 10 years experience, I was really like tensed, also in my body. So I have this body movement workout I can do to really like loosen your body, and different techniques to just be in your body and not in your head, which is amazing. And yeah, and then of course like TV acting is, you have you have very a lot of time before that, and then you learn the lines, you make character work, you can like even write about your character, you can paint, that's what I do. Then theater is a bit similar, just that I need this body movement more than in TV, because TV is very detailed. And yeah, and then poetry is, for me, it was the best experience actually as an actor, because in acting everything has to be so much on point, everything has to be perfect, you have to like embrace the audience and everything, so like work detailed. And when I came to poetry, everything is so raw. Like people can just go on the stage and read out a letter or something, and it's poetry, and people are very touched by this because it's so raw and personal and pure. So yeah, and that's what then I experienced that, so I didn't need any practice for that. Just when I do this one poem, I mean, it's very like a performance, so there body movement stuff helps. But when I just read out, for example, at your event, that was an amazing experience. So it's just that was just me, and in that case I enjoyed it to be just me. I didn't need any techniques, but maybe it's also because of the support I have in poetry events, and because everybody's very open and vulnerable. I think I wouldn't do it in any theater stages.
Oh yeah, I mean, when it comes to prep, there's so much practical prep that goes on in a film, you know. This like, they say that your film is made 4 times. So once where you're writing it, once where you're doing the pre-production, where you basically plan. That's what pre-production is all about. But I think what you meant by prep was how you like mentally prep yourself for like I think like before moving to London back in India, I used to dread going on set, very honestly.
What?
I used to dread going on sets. I would like shake, and I was like the most nervous, the most anxious, the most sweaty person on sets, and I would even the like thought of going on set would like scare me. But I think like while I was doing so many projects during my masters last year, something like switched off in my head, and I was like, you know what, it's a film set, and anything that can go wrong will go wrong. So I just like embraced Murphy's Law, I guess, and from then on it's just been a really, really blissful experience on set. I never stress, because especially if you're like the director on set, if you're nervous, you're basically dictating the energy on set. So if you are nervous, everyone on set is gonna like
Be nervous.
like take a dive and like go do absolute shit. So there's no point in being nervous. If something goes wrong, you just be patient and find a solution for it and just keep moving. That's all you can do.
You're essentially a captain or a leader in that situation where you're not just responsible for yourself, but like what the others do, and and motivating them and delegating work, and
Exactly.
there's a balance, right?
Exactly. Yeah, you just have to keep the energy like serene, and at the same time, like we're just having fun right now. That's the kind of, but like also like to like personally, like creatively, to prep myself, I think the most important thing is to remind myself, why am I doing this, why am I making this film, why is it important to me, in a more micro way. When I'm shooting a scene, why is this scene here, like why is it important to a film, why is this actor saying this dialogue? If I keep asking those whys, I think I can like get the most out of a scene. So that's one important question I keep on asking myself when I'm working on set. Why, if I don't get a very strong answer for that why, I remove that dialogue, change the scene.
I'm kind of curious as to, because obviously you guys come from different disciplines and things, like what does success look like to you? Where do you want to be in like in the next 5 years? And like, what is your ideal project? There might be 3 big questions, but yeah, what would those be for you guys?
Okay, you're pointing at me.
So success, where you see yourself in 5 years, and your ideal project.
I think in 5 years I should have already made 2 feature films. And like have had like a theatrical release. Success, I guess, for me would be when I begin to help other young filmmakers or just like artists out in their work, That's when I would be like, I'm successful.
What you're already doing right now?
Yeah.
With the project we did?
Yeah. And like my company, What to Remembers, is sort of like my first step towards that. Because it is, I mean, no matter how much I say that What to Remembers is about like making audio visuals for others, it's more of me sort of like trying to curate other artists or my friends around me, and like helping them become like the best version of themselves. And that kind of gives me happiness, that really gives me happiness. And I want to reach that stage where I am so stable, like mentally, financially, creatively, professionally, that I am able to help others reach that stage. And just like, that would be success for me.
Kind of be like a mentor as well, like.
Yeah, I really like that. I love doing that. I just like, because whenever I meet someone, I really like see the light in them, and I want to like shake them and be like, see it in you, just like see it, you have it, just like, so and what was the other one?
So success. Ideal project.
Ideal project, oh my god, I think for now it's the next film that I'm making. The short film, because I haven't really written and directed something in a long time. All the projects I did last year were I was either the writer or the director. I wasn't like both together. So I'm really excited to do this one. Plus, it's like the first very personal film that I'm making. I've never made anything personal before. This is like super personal. So I think it is my ideal project, because like I said, I want this to be my last short film. I want to move on to making my big films after this. So a lot is like dependent on this one. I really have to like show what I've got, through this film. So in my head, it looks amazing. So I just hope I have the like the right resources to like translate that image into an actual film. So right now, and I think it will always be like that. I mean, if you ask me this question 10 years later, I'm gonna say ideal project is the one I'm working on next.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I can see that being the answer for most people. The one, because it's the one you're working on, it's the one you've next dreamt.
Yeah, because like like when it comes to like anything like painting or poetry, it's just basically you can like make so many in like a day and still have like an ideal poem or ideal painting in your head. But when you're like committing to make a film, you're basically deciding to like invest like months or like a year of your life in a project. So if you've already made the decision to make a film, that already means that you like have a lot of like faith in it. So yeah.
What about you, Louise?
So I have to be very honest with myself right now because
Yeah, be honest. We like honesty.
I'm right between this. I try to combine it, but still I have this acting path and I have this writing path, and I'm really trying to combine it. But because I'm in drama school and 1.5 years I'm finishing drama school, and then I could do the very classical path, like do these auditions for theaters in Germany and go into a fixed ensemble and then play there for the next years. That's an option. But what I'm doing right now, writing more and more, I really want to, I think like my best, the projects I really like more right now are the writing projects. And when when I did now the children's theater play I wrote and we can present it now near Berlin, this is fulfilling me so much, because it's the themes which are very important for me, and then the audience, like for young audience, and I can share this with kids and with people and actually also produce it by myself. So it's coming out of myself and I'm depending just by myself. This is making me so happy right now, and I think I want to keep on doing this. I don't know where the project goes. Like maybe we are going to present the theater play on other festivals, in other theaters in Germany and German-speaking countries. Maybe I'm going to translate it in English and also show it here. But if this is somehow finished like in a year because we have done it already and showed it everywhere, I think then I want to do my next performance. And I think poetry showed me that I can also do some other themes and write about other themes, like the childhood theme I had in my last poem. Like so many people came to me and were like, okay, maybe you have to put this also further and do other projects with this. And now I'm maybe working on something with Jodie together, and we would make a performance together out of this theme, and then I could also go in an English-speaking world with my art.
Yeah, I mean, I think you can do both, whether it's writing or acting. They always kind of transfer over. Like you see a lot of actors going into production or directing, and vice versa. Like some directors even act. So that's actually you don't have to kind of close the door to one.
Maybe I don't have to make the decision. Also, with my children's theater, I feel I can do both because I'm also playing the main actor in that play. So, but I also feel that it's a lot. Like I have to manage 10 professional actors, I have to write it, rehearse it, and then I have to jump into my own character. So I know it's a lot, so I have to find a balance.
Yeah, you have to be crazy to do something like that. I would never do that.
I mean, yeah, true, you're not acting in your own films.
No, I'm not, no.
Yeah. So yeah, this is something, maybe I have to make some decisions, maybe I can combine it and just get more professional with this, so yeah.
What about you, Ned?
There's like an album like a few years down the line that
I was going to ask about if you're going to do an album.
Yeah, I am. But there's like, I've got a couple written, and there's one called Portraits, which is like number 6 or 7, and I just think that would be so cool to do. Like, it would probably be in about 5 or 6 years' time, and by that point, I'd like to answer your other question, I'd like to be kind of like Deven said, to be honest, in like a very stable, professional, emotional, creative and financial position, and
like having your own label and bring other artists through.
I don't know if that's an ambition, more just like I don't to have like a record deal and be gigging whenever I want to gig, etc. But this album Portraits would be like if it could be what I'd like it to be, I think it would be so cool. It would be like a very deliberately collaborative thing. It would be like really deliberately like stretching stretching what like songwriting means to like deliberately include snippets of like a lot of like themes in music that are kind of very popular at the moment, like, you know, having bits of rap and spoken word within a song, and having elements of like soloing and improvising in a song, and having like what's the expression, like sound recordings, field recordings, and like voice notes in songs, and like really deliberately engaging with all those new mediums, and like working with loads of different people, and like and it's cool because a few of them are like, there's a few people who I'm like kind of messing around with at the moment where the like vague intention is in like 5 or 6 years time for that, this like very slow burning like kind of jam situation to like develop into like a massive fuck off album, and it's quite nice actually to like have that like, and not to have like a big time frame on it, because like the stuff that I've been doing this year has been very like, okay, like get the music done in January, get the mixing done in February, and then, do you know what I mean, and then it's been very fast paced, and that has its pros and its cons. So I think it'll be really interesting, like creatively, to have like a project or like an album which is like the opposite of that, and is all like deliberately takes its time.
Any advice you could give to anyone that's in the same like path as you, whether they want to do filmmaking, if they want to act, or want to be a musician? Like, is there anything that you could tell them that could be useful to them on their journey?
I don't know if I'd feel like I'm in a position to give advice. Maybe just like don't take yourself too seriously.
I think for me, like I think just do it, because I think like for anyone watching, like I think imposter syndrome, or just feeling that you're not adequate enough to do it, or you don't have enough resources or the skill. I think no one ever starts with the skill at 100. They have to start. Everyone starts from 0, and anyone that you follow that is your idol, is someone that you want to like replicate their success in whatever they're doing. You have to kind of like start learning the thing and doing the thing.
Insanely hard work is also, you know, fundamental. Like you have to just really work fucking hard.
Maybe I can say something about my auditioning process, because that's where I learned the most, I think. And in Germany, like we have these drama schools. It's similar here in England. Like 600 to 800 apply, and 8 to 10 get a place. So, and I did this, and I got rejected for 1.5 years. And I was applying all in all, I think, for 17 drama schools. And I heard lots of things like, come back in a year, we see something in you, but try to handle your stage anxiety, that's just too much for us. Like so many comments, and always I was calling my dad or friends, crying on the phone, like, but I kept going. And in this whole process, when I finally got the place, then after 1.5 years, I learned 2 things. Which is once just being yourself. It sounds very cheesy, but often you really try to fit in, and that's an amazing school in Berlin, and you really wanna get in, and then you try to just please the audience, the people who how do you say, the casting people. I don't know the word right now. So that's the thing, and then you stop being yourself, and you so, and that's one thing, what you have in you, and then people will see it if you just be honest. And then the other thing is, now I forgot. I know, it also sounds very cheesy, but everything really happens like it should happen. I have the feeling, because I really wanted to get into this specific school, and I was so sad to not get in. Then I got a place in Zurich, and what I got from Zurich, the drama school in Zurich, it was so different to the others where I didn't get in, and they were so focusing on what I carry, what I have in myself, and now I got into writing, and I don't know if I would have started writing, and which is like most fulfilling me right now. So I think, like, imagine I got into the first acting school 3 years ago. I wouldn't have been here. I think I would not be here, not be in London. And I'm very happy with what I did.
I think that's why I think free will is so important, because I think anyone can pretty much do anything. It depends on what that decision of where you think this is worthwhile doing, and then while you do that, that dreams change, right? Like I've wanted to be other things before this, right? So I think I think you're set on one path to discover another, and things fork, and it's that commitment and that decision to like, okay, I've got 2 choices, or I've got 3 or 4. I'm going to do this one for now and see where that goes. And if not, I can change. If not, if I love it, I can continue. And that's where I think that's why life is so important, to say yes to things, but if you also know yourself, to say no to things that don't, like, make decisions out of love and not fear. So if you love something, do it. If you're doing something because you fear something, then I would say don't act on that fear. Find another lens to
then
make a
definitely
decision.
do it. Yeah. If you're afraid of doing something, then definitely do
Oh,
it.
you're kind of like, yeah. I mean, like fear of like, desperation. I got to take this job, but I mean, depending on your situation. Yeah.
Yeah, I think my. Do you want to say something?
No, yeah, I try to make it more short. Like when you get a rejection, just keep on going. Okay, this is for good. This is for good, because something else is waiting. And this sounds so cheesy, but it's really true.
That's so true. Yeah. If you didn't get onto a bunch of projects, that just means like a really good one is like that's really meant for you, is like waiting for you. That's really true.
Yeah, Miss Yankee has she said this to me once. Like any rejection is just a redirection. Yeah, for sure. And let's say it's similar to when a door closes, a window opens, or something.
Yeah. I think I would like give a few advices, and I'm still like learning these myself, so I'm not.
But you're such a wise person, though.
No, I wouldn't say that. But I think the most important lessons that I've been trying to like apply in my life this year is listen to your gut. In any kind of situation, be it like personal or professional, your gut is going to tell you. It's going to tell you the right answer and the right thing that you need to do within the 10 seconds of the thought or that situation coming to you. Most of us basically just like start intellectualizing the situation or the emotion or the thought and just mess it up. So yeah, I've been trying this so hard, and it's really difficult. But your body basically knows what you should do, and you should just you should listen to it all the time. And second most important would be to like just be grateful with where you are and what you have right now, because unless you have that, I don't think you're ever gonna like move on from that place, because then you're not done with that place. Once you're like, oh yeah, I'm happy where I am, then you can be like, oh, I can move on to and try out some other stage in my life now. That's another thing. Again, another really important advice Ned gave a few minutes ago is hydrate.
Hydrate, yeah. Drink a lot of water. Drink alkaline
it's
water.
Like it's such an adulting thing to do, right? Yeah. Like to just like watch your water levels.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah. Another really important advice would be keep Will Smith's wife's name out your fucking mouth.
Is there anything quite funny that you've learned, actually, like, on your journey? Like, oh, I didn't know it could be like this, and that was kind of a surprise.
I think I have to get back to this moment when I wrote the theatre play, directed it, rehearsed it, did the stage design,
did the whole team,
and played the main role. And then then we did the 2 shows, and after the 2 shows I went to London. I think then on my way to London I was like, wait, did this happen? Because I thought I was not capable of it. I thought what I did, I thought like, no, that's not me. And then it was me, and then I was like surprised. So that was my moment.
I really feel that I try to be really, really strict about like not, if there's not like really practical things, like not like clicking on someone's Spotify page who's my age and like finding out how old they are, like how many, do you know what I mean? Just like totally just I think just like totally just like with almost like head in the sand, like because we're so often like forced to look at like what everybody else is doing, and just like force yourself to not think about that, and just like don't look at, just like don't click on X or Y, and like don't.
Yeah.
And it's so, I think it's so important, like Luise said, to not get sucked into that. Otherwise, you're just fucked.
Whenever you catch yourself comparing and then getting frustrated, try to transfer it into getting inspiration.
I think one of my favourite quotes is by Andy Warhol. I'm going to butcher because I can't paraphrase it properly, but basically it doesn't matter whether, you shouldn't concern yourself with whether what you make is good or not, and it doesn't matter what other people think. While people are considering what you've made is good or bad, make something else and just keep doing that.
Yeah,
Exactly.
I like that.
I love that.
And I'll put it up on screen because I butchered it in post. I think we should just kind of like maybe close out. What are you guys, well, obviously plug yourselves, and then what are you guys working on, and where they can find you, basically.
I've got EP number 3 coming out in October. Cool. So there'll be a big gig for that. So come if you'd like to. It'll be great.
Okay, for me it's my children's theatre play. It's called Elevator to the Moon, and it's 15th and 16th of September near Berlin, in my hometown village. Whenever you are in Berlin, when you are in Berlin, come by. It's gonna be nice. I can show you my farm where I grew up. We have a river, we have horses. It's gonna be a whole experience with theatre. Yeah, I mean it's not in London, so it's quite far. But if you want to go to Berlin anyway, it's a good thing to combine with. Yeah, and my Instagram is. Should I say it?
Yeah, say your Instagrams, yeah.
Luise Hipp, LuiseHipp. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm Deven Ahire. Things I'm working on next is my last short film. It's called Anguish Man, it's a psychological drama, and it's a really fun film, very personal to me. I'm very excited for it. And I'm launching my own company called Water Remembers, which is a storytelling agency, all sorts of audiovisual services for creatives, professionals, and startups. So if you have a story to tell about yourself or your creations, hit me up. Meta's collaborating with me as my cinematographer, which is amazing. We've already done a project together with Luise.
And I can recommend it. It was very nice working with these guys. So yeah, you should check it out.
Yeah, and you can find me on Instagram as Water Remembers.
That's cool. Ned, you didn't give your Instagram actually.
It's just Ned Ashcroft.
Just one word?
Yeah.
Space underscore.
Yeah.
How do you spell Ashcroft, by the way, for people at home?
ASHCROFT.
Woo, okay, wicked. And you can find me at The Metaphorest, the metaphor at the EST at the end, or one word. Instagram, YouTube, and The METAFORECAST, but with an FO. And yeah, you can find that on my page.